Anyone who looks at her actions with goodwill, that is clear. It can be substantiated. It leaves no room for slander. However, I don't want either to belittle Amalia or to defriend Frida. All I want is to let you see what my relation to Frida is, and that every attack on Frida is an attack on myself. I came here of my own accord, and of my own accord I have settled here. But all that has happened to me since I came, and above all, any prospects I may have, dark as they are, they still exist. I owe entirely to Frida, and you can't argue that away. True, I was engaged to come here as a land surveyor, yet there was only a pretext. They were playing with me. I was driven out of everybody's house. They're playing with me still today. How much more complicated the game is now that I have, so to speak, a larger circumference, which means something. It may not be much, yet I already have a home, a position, and real work to do. I have a promised wife who takes her share of my professional duties when I have other business. I'm going to marry her and become a member of the community. And besides my official connection, I have also a personal connection with Clam. Although as yet I haven't been able to make use of it. That's surely quite a lot. And when I come to you, why do you make me welcome? Why do you confide the history of your family to me? Why do you hope that I might possibly help you? Certainly not because I am the land surveyor whom Leisman and Brunswick, for instance, turned out of their house a week ago, but because I'm a man with some power at my back. But that I owe to Frida, who is so modest that if you were to ask her about it, she wouldn't know it existed. And so, considering all this, it seems that Frida, in her innocence, has achieved more than Amalia in all her pride. For may I say that I have the impression that you're seeking help for Amalia? And from whom? In the last resort, from no one else but Frida. Did I really speak so abominably of Frida? Asked Olga. I certainly didn't mean to. And I don't think I did. Still, it's possible. We're in a bad way. Our whole world is in ruins. And once we begin to complain, we're further carried than we realize. You're quite right. There's a big difference now between us and Frida. And it's a good thing to emphasize it once in a while. 3 years ago, we were respectable girls, and Frida an outcast, a servant in the Bridge Inn. We used to walk past her without looking at her. I admit it, we were too arrogant, but That's how we were brought up. But that evening in the Herrenhof probably enlightened you about our respective positions today. Frida with the whip in her hand, and I among the crowd of servants. But it's worse than that. Frida may despise us. Her position entitles her to do so. Actual circumstances compel it. But who is there who doesn't despise us? Whoever decides to despise us will find himself in good company. Do you know Frida's successor? Peppy, she's called. I met her for the first time the night before last. She used to be a chambermaid. She certainly outdoes Frida in her contempt for me. She saw me through the window as I was coming for beer and ran to the door and locked it, so that I had to beg and pray for a long time and promise her the ribbon from my hair before she would let me in. But when I gave it to her, she threw it into a corner. Well, I can't help if she despises me. I'm partly dependent on her goodwill, and she's the barmaid in the Herrenhof. Only for the time being, it's true. For she certainly hasn't the qualities needed for permanent employment there. One only has to overhear how the landlord speaks to Peppy and compare it with his tone to Frida. But that doesn't hinder Peppy from despising even Amalia. Amalia, whose glance alone would be enough to drive Peppy, with all her plaits and ribbons, out of the room, much faster than her own fat legs would ever carry her. I had to listen again yesterday to her infuriating slanders against Amalia until the customers took my part at last, although only in the kind of way you've already seen. How touchy you are, said Kay. I only put Frida in her right place, but I had no intention of belittling you, as you seem to think. Your family has a special interest for me. I have never denied it. But how this interest could give me cause for despising you, I can't understand. Okay, said Olga. I'm afraid that even you will understand it yet. Can't you even understand that Amalia's behavior to Sortini was the original cause of our being despised? That would be strange indeed, said Kay. One might admire or condemn Amalia for such an action, but despise her? And even if she is despised for some reason I can't comprehend, why should the contempt be extended to you others, her innocent family? For Peppy to despise you, for instance, is a piece of impudence, and I'll let her know it if I'm ever in the Herrenhof again. If you set out, Kay, said Olga, to convert all the people who despise us, you'll have your work cut out for you.